Hi there, welcome to Talk Canicross. I'm Janetta George.
And I'm Gail Walker. We're here today to talk all things Canicross, the fun way to get fit with your dog. So we hope you'll join us, whether it's for training tips, dog talk, or just for fun and encouragement. This is Talk Canicross, brought to you by DogFit. And don't forget to hit subscribe and keep in touch with all things Canicross. We often talk about Canicross as a positive force for the mind and the body, and that goes for the human and the dog. Well, today's podcast guest, Emma Duckworth, is testament to this. Canicross has not only helped her manage depression after being discharged from the British Army following a diagnosis of PTSD, but it's also been a salvation for her beautiful dog Miyah, who Emma rescued after suffering abuse by a previous owner. Emma's with us today to talk about her experiences and tell us more about Miyah and the special bond they have together. So welcome, Emma, and welcome, Miyah. Lovely to have you along.
She's had to say hello to the camera. Everything off.
Oh, I know, absolutely lovely, and it's she knows it's about her as well.
Yes, so. She loves being centre of attention, don't you?
She's more than welcome to make a guest appearance there. But yeah, it's lovely to have you on the show, and really interesting to hear more about your Canicross journey and discovery. But just to sort of go back a bit, can you tell us a little bit about your time in the army and maybe the circumstances that led you to finding Miyah as well?
So I'd served just over 6 years in the army. When I originally joined, I was only 18, and I joined into the Royal Artillery. So basically, that's the simplest way of explaining it. Is what the artillery do is like it's armored vehicles. So it's basically, if you were to look at it, you'd think it looks like a tank. It's very, very similar to what a tank looks like, except from a tank can obviously fire on the move, whereas the AS90, which what I used to work on, you couldn't fire on the move, so you'd fire and then you'd have to drive. So I did that for 4 years, and as you can imagine, that was a very male-dominated job.
Yeah.
There weren't many girls that did that sort of role, and then I was a driver for that as well. And then after 4 years, I sort of thought, like, I really need to get like an actual trade, really, something that would benefit me on the outside. So I transferred over, still stayed in the army, but transferred over to Queen Alexandra Royal Army Nursing Corps, where I was doing like the medical side of the job, and I was a healthcare assistant. So in total, I did that for about just over 6 years, and then due to there were some incidents that had happened when I was in the Royal Artillery, and then it didn't start to affect me until like a couple of years down the line, and then that's where my mental health then started to like plummet, really, and like I started suffering with my mental health. So I went to the doctors, obviously spoke to the doctors about it, and they prescribed me antidepressants, so I got put on them for quite a while. And then sort of like what they sort of like do regular meetings and stuff, and like see how you're getting on and like what support you need and stuff. And then basically they'd made the decision that they diagnosed me with post-traumatic stress disorder. Wow. And then they sort of then said, you're not no longer fit for army service, so you will be getting medically discharged, which obviously like I weren't really expecting, because like I've had family, like my uncles, they were in the army, my granddad was in the army. Like I've got a lot of family that had served, and I sort of like had the anticipation of doing a full career out of it. Because obviously the opportunities you get, like you get that in most jobs, like the travel and all that stuff. So I was a bit taken aback by when they said they were obviously medically discharging me, and I was sort of like, oh, what do I do? So while there's when you get medically discharged from the army, there's like a process you have to go ahead with, and it's quite a long process because you have to have various like meetings have to happen to make sure that this is definitely the right choice of medically discharging me. So obviously that took like a year, so I was just sort of like sat around not being able to be in work for a year. Obviously you still get paid by the army because you're technically still employed by them. So in that meantime, me and my partner bought a house. So he was obviously going to work, and I was sort of in the house on my own because obviously he can't just not work. So I did start to feel like a lot lonely and like on my own. And, you know, like when you're going through mental health as well, you need to be around people really, because it was just really hard. And then I was sort of just on
It's
Facebook.
counterintuitive, isn't it, Emma? It's
Yeah,
counterintuitive because you're suddenly on your own and you're not, you know,
yeah,
amongst all your colleagues. I mean, did you
yeah.
get much support during that time in that year?
No,
No.
no. I didn't find the army was very supportive, to be honest with you. And I know there's people in very similar situations to myself as well that didn't feel the same as well. Like I'd raised concerns about what had happened while I was in the army, and it sort of just got brushed under the carpet and like not dealt with how it should have been dealt with.
Yeah.
Which I think that was one of my biggest struggles. Like I just felt like I was just getting ignored really, and I felt like I weren't getting the support that I needed to get. And I felt like it was just very poorly managed, to be honest with you. So yeah, I sort of like moved into the house on my own, and then yeah, so I was just on Facebook really, just scrolling through, and then I've seen a photo of Miyah being advertised to be rehomed.
Yeah.
A girl I know has a doggy daycare, and she sort of said like very, very brief circumstances of basically she's been left in the kennels and she's looking for a home, because obviously they can only have them in kennels for so long, and if no rescue centres pick them up,
Yeah.
they're sort of like at a limbo with what to do. And she'd obviously had Miyah at a daycare before, and she knew what type of dog she was, and she knew she'd struggle in the kennel environment, so she brought her home and then advertised it on her doggy daycare page.
Okay.
As soon as I saw her, obviously, like them eyes just instantly like draw your attention to her. And I'd messaged her and I'd said like, I'm interested, X, Y, and Z. And then it was sort of like, we've had a lot of interest, so we'll leave it for now, and then we'll sort of like, if like no homes are suitable for her, then I'll get back in touch. And I was sort of just like, she's gonna be gone. Like I sort of accepted that. I thought, that's it, I'm not gonna have her. Like there's obviously gonna be a perfect home for her. And then a few days later, she'd messaged me and said, no homes are suitable, would you be interested in viewing her? So I was like, yes, definitely.
It's destiny, isn't it? It's that whole, the dogs find you. They do say that.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And like I'd messaged her without even speaking to my partner about it. So I went and met up with her and sort of viewed her. And then when he got home from work, I was like, oh, I viewed a dog today. And then showed him.
What did you say?
I showed him her, and he instantly like fell in love with her because he loves huskies. And so he'd then met up with her as well. And it was clear she was obviously an anxious dog. Like she was very wary initially. I found more Rob than me.
Yeah.
And because we didn't really know her background at the time then. And then we just instantly fell in love with her. And then she sort of came over to our house to sort of like see how she'd settle. And that's it. She was like on her back with her belly in the air, sort of asking for belly rubs. And then it was sort of like, oh, she's settled, like you can keep her there. So we were then like rushing around to the shops to like get like balls and beds, because we didn't have anything.
Wow.
We thought she was going to be going back, and we thought there were going to be like more visits. So we were like rushing to the range to get all the dog stuff. And yeah, like the rest is history. Like which we've had her for 4 years now.
Wow.
And like honestly, like she's the best thing that has ever happened to me. Like she'll always be like special dog. Like no matter what other dogs I get, she'll always be my number one. And I've even got a tattooed on my leg, like because she's done so much for me. Like she's helped me through my mental health struggles, and like I'll always be grateful for that.
How when you say she's special and she's really helped, what is it about Miyah and her personality and the bond you have that makes you feel that way?
So she's got such a quirky personality. Like she's just like, because she's husky German Shepherd, it's strange because it's like she's very chilled out for a husky. Like I know they've got the reputation of being mental, but I mean, like I'm looking at her now and she's literally just passed out asleep. Like she's so chilled out and like really laid back, but she does have a husky moments where she will zoom me around the house and like she will howl and sing at me. And she's just very like, I say she's like a therapy dog. She's very chilled and very calm. Like she calms you because of like how chilled out she is.
She's like your soul dog, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
She's like your soul dog. How old is she?
She's 7 now.
Oh, right. Oh, lovely.
Yeah,
You had
so we got her
before
when
you-
she was 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been like 4 years now.
Oh,
It's
that's lovely.
flown. Like I get sad sometimes because I'm like, oh, she's getting old now. Like, I mean, she's
Oh,
still
you've got
got
loads of
life
time.
in her, but yeah, it's mad how long it's been. Like,
Yeah.
it's gone so quick.
Yeah, that's lovely. So how did you come across Canicross then? So tell us that your journey into discovering the sport.
So I've always loved sports. Like at school, I was one of them people who took sports as if it was the Olympics. Like every sport in school, you name it, I did it. Like I loved it. And I used to sprint for my county as well when I was in school. So I did that like all over the place. So I've always had that sporty interest and sporty background. And then obviously I joined the army. It's a very physical, demanding job.
Yeah.
So I did various sports for the army as well. And I was sort of like just looking at things you can do, because obviously you can do like agility and stuff like that. And then I was just scrolling on social media and I come across someone running with the dog, and I looked at it. Like when you initially look at it, it looks a bit manic, doesn't it? Like you see this dog dragging you and you're like, geez, like it looks really intimidating initially, but once you do it, you obviously know it's so much fun. So I saw it and I thought I'd love to do that. So I literally just went on Amazon and bought because I weren't really aware of like the equipment at the time. So she'd already had a normal harness. So I then bought literally just do like a bungee lead and then a little waistband, like the most rubbishest kit you could think of. Just went out for a run with her. And then after doing more research, I then started to get a bit more knowledge about the kit and equipment.
Yeah.
And I'd seen there were local groups near me that did Canicross meetups. So like everyone would all meet up and go for a run together. So I joined one of them, and they were so nice and like really like inclusive. And because obviously I was a bit nervous and like I didn't really have much knowledge on the kit, and like one of the girls brought an extra like a proper harness to like a Canicross harness to let me try and size on, and they were all really helpful and explained everything to me really well. And then literally that night I went and bought all the equipment, like the proper Canicross harness, like the waist harness, everything. And then that's it. Like I've just been stuck to it like glue. Like it's weird because like I used to not really enjoy, like I used to enjoy sprinting, but like a long distance run I didn't used to particularly enjoy, because I say I'm not built to run long distance. But like it's different when you're running with a dog because you're not on your own.
Completely different, yeah.
Yeah, and like especially as a female as well, sometimes it can be quite intimidating going for a run on your own. Like I'd always like used to run with a headset on and always have one ear out, just because you need to have that social awareness. And with her, I feel really safe. Like she's like my little bodyguard.
Yeah.
So that it's just nice because you don't feel like you're on your own, and you've got company there, and it almost distracts you from what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
And when you're running with other people as well, you can probably off road. I mean, I always feel that there's places I run with other people I wouldn't necessarily run on my own.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And like it's just good because like you're running with people who have got similar interests and hobbies to you, and like you've got a lot of things in common. And like I've created quite a few like close friends from doing Canicross and doing like from these social groups. We've kind of like made our own little social group, and we all go out quite often. There's like 5 or 6 of us, and we'll all go out together. And like we've even gone through the effort of like this is like our team, like we've made like a team shirt, and like on the back it says our dog's name, and like it's like, and when we do races together we all wear the t-shirt, and like it just looks really good. Like we get a photo together, and like we'll all take the photo in our t-shirts, and it's really nice. Like I've gained some really good friends from it as well.
It's very special, isn't it? I think all the big things that comes out of it. And then Miyah as well. She's obviously made some good friends as well. So when you first took her for a Canicross run, can you remember how she reacted? Did she know what to do, or did she fall in line with the other dogs? Or
yeah, she did. Yeah, like when she runs a lot better when she is with a pack, rather like on her own. She's more inclined to like not pull as much, I find. But yeah, when she's with a pack, she loves it. And when we first started, like I could just tell she enjoyed it like I didn't feel like I had to like, you know, like drag her along, like being like, come on, come with. And like, I think it was literally like 3K our first when I was trying to look back the other week, and it was like 3 kilometers, and like I'm doing my 5K time in the same time that I did my 3K at the time, which is
fantastic.
It's crazy, like, but yeah, she loved it. And then as soon as I brought her back, that's it. I didn't hear a peep out of her for the rest of the day. She was passed out of like when I do these runs, you can tell she's getting the what's the word, like the exercise she needs and the stimulation she needs, because obviously she's a husky. She's bred to pull things, and you can just tell she loves it, and she's in her element when she's out running with her dog friends as well.
Yeah, and that's interesting you're saying that it's like you find your tribe of people that you go there, and they're all people that are enjoying what you enjoy. They love their dogs. They obviously know that they, you know, want to keep fit and they can do something together, and you really do forget that you're kind of running, because you're more noticing how much your dog is having a great time. And you know, there is a fantastic Canicross community of runners all around the UK and worldwide that you know, it's a very inclusive sport. Did you find that was an unexpected benefit that came, that, you know, obviously you've just joined this group of strangers and suddenly you have a support group around you?
Yeah, like I was really worrying, because I was like, oh, I'm not a very good runner, like I'm gonna slow them down, and like people wait for you, and like they're so nice, and like, because I was worried about thinking like, oh, they're gonna judge me for like thinking I'm really slow or whatever, and everyone's at different levels, but it doesn't matter, because like they will wait for you, and like people will run with you, and like they'll cheer you on and be like, come on, keep going, you're doing really well, and or like they'll wait for you at the junction, and it's just really nice, because like I don't feel pressure to be like because obviously some people can absolutely gun it round, like it's crazy, like the world record for the 5K for a Canicross, but like it doesn't matter, everyone's at different levels, and as long as you and your dog's enjoying it, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and that's a really important point, and we're so pleased that you're sharing that, because I think, as you said, a lot of people think that you can't join in with Canicross because you can't run, and then you're worried that your dog's going to do something and embarrass you, or you know, or your dog's a little bit anxious and might be a bit overexcited. And actually, you know, once people have tried it, I don't think we know anyone that has said it you know, it's not for them. Whatever level that people do, you don't all have to be running long, you know, big races or anything, you know, even just going out. But yeah, it sounded like it was this unexpected support crew that you
definitely. Like, and I feel like people also have that thought of like being like, oh, I've got like a Labrador, can my dog do it? And it's like, any dog can do it, like, just because you don't have to have a husky that's bred to pull. Like, we've got in our group, there's like a lot of whippets, and one of the girls has got a dog that she rescued from Cyprus, and then there's a mixture of like, there's other German Shepherds. One of the girls has got 2 ex-retired police dogs. Like, it doesn't matter what dogs you've got. And like my friend's Whippet pulls more than like we swapped one time, and honestly, I'm not joking yet. Like, it's like a Whippet that's probably like 10-15 kg, and like I could feel him pulling more than Miyah, who's 30 kg. Like, it doesn't matter what dog you've got. Like, that's what on our t-shirt it says, any dog Canicross. So like any dog can do it, and it doesn't matter what breed it is. And like, I saw a video the other day of 2 hours doing bike jaw, and I was like, it melted my heart. Like the little legs running, it was so cute.
You know, everything you're talking about epitomizes, you know, what we stand for as you know, it's our ethos is about, you know, encouraging everybody and every dog to get involved with your canny trekking, hands-free walking, or you want to do a 5K or even train up to a marathon or an ultra. And it's lovely to hear that from you, and what you're getting out of it personally, because you talked about obviously how you've grown some wonderful friendships in the last few years you've been doing Canicross. How has it helped your mental health, that side of things, since obviously you left the army and you've met Miyah and you've been doing Canicross?
Oh, definitely. Like, honestly, like I find like I do struggle to make friends sometimes, because I do suffer with like ADHD and traits of autism as well, and I find sometimes I struggle to make friends. And in that sport, like, I feel so at ease, because like like that you've got things in common with them, and you've got something to bond over. And I find I don't have any difficulty making any friends within that sector of Canicross, and it's really good. And you know, like when you are suffering with your mental health, it's good to have that support network around you. And you don't even necessarily have to talk to them about what's going through in your mind in terms of your mental health, but just talking to people and getting out there and getting, like I say, like, get the endorphins going by going for a run. And like, you don't realize how much of a difference it makes. And like, it's hard because when I was in that mindset before I got Miyah, I was very much like, I don't want to leave the house, I don't want to go out, I don't want to do anything, and I'm never gonna feel like I'm never gonna not feel like this, and I'm gonna be like this forever. And like, it's hard because when you're in that situation, you feel like you can't see the other side of it, but I can promise you there definitely is. And like, if you can just get your foot out the door with your dog, and even if you do a walk run, or you don't have to go out and run 5k straight away, like any sort of run's an achievement. And it's just really good. It's good for you in your recovery, and having them people around you and talking to new people and meeting new people.
Yeah, and the sport has just grown massively. But yeah, as Gail mentioned, it's like very much our ethos of like encouraging people, whether they want to run or walk, or you know, whatever they want to do. But you mentioned also that you've done some sort of races and events. So tell us a bit about those. What kind of distances have you done, and you know, how's Miyah been with that as well?
So most of my races have been either between 5 and 10k with Miyah. So I've done a couple of races over in the Lake District. Well, sorry, I've done one race in the Lake District, and I don't think I'll be doing another one because that hill, I'm not joking, I think it was like 10k, and I think I actually walked 85% of it because it was like this.
Yeah, really hard. Yeah, it was like the Gower.
Honestly, it was so hilly. And I've done runs over in, where else have I done them? Newcastle. So I did one back end of last year. It was a trail dog event, and that was like, oh, it was so much fun. That was 5k, and it was basically like Tough Mudder with your dog. So like, you had to do all the obstacles, and there were all sorts, like get your dog to jump in a trolley and you push the trolley.
Oh, wow.
Get your dog to go on a, you know, like a sup, the board.
The sup board. That sounds like great fun.
She didn't go on it. I tried for about 10 minutes. I was like, come on, and she ravaged on it. So I had to run round, which I was really upset with because I was seeing everyone do it and I was getting really jealous. So I'm going to train her to get used to that. I want to do that. But it was so much fun because obviously, like there were no pressure on your time or anything. It was just getting the obstacles done, and that. Yeah, so that was over in Newcastle. That were really good. Where else have I done? So there's been one recently in Burnley about Christmas time, and that was raising money for Pendle Dogs Charity, which is a rescue centre. And I've actually got a race with them on Sunday again at Burnley, because I find, like, I'm from Lancashire, and I find there's not many Canicross races. A lot of them are like Midlands or Yorkshire, like Yorkshire way, which isn't too far. Yorkshire, I'm about 40 minutes from Yorkshire, so that's good. Or obviously there's a lot more down south, isn't there?
We have a list of them on the website, so that we have a events list of Canicross. So sometimes they're just Canicross races, and sometimes they welcome Canicrosses in there. But that's great. What's Miyah like at the start? Does she know what's happening? Is she very excited?
You get any
when we start, I'm surprised from where you are down south. I'm surprised you don't hear her. Let's just put it that way. Like, she screams. She lets out her inner husky because she screams from the rooftop with excitement, and like, it's crazy. Like, I've done it in the when I did a race in Delamere, and that was the first race I've ever done with her. And because obviously when you do the social run, you sort of just go straight away, so there's no like suspense and hype. Whereas when it was at the Lake District and at Delamere, it was like all the dogs were going, and then she started going and howling and singing, and it was so fun. Like, it was such a good atmosphere. And then ever since then, every race we do, she's singing from the rooftop, raring to go, dragging me along. Well, yeah, you can just tell she loves it. It's not like a bark or a howl where, like, it's like, I'm uncomfortable. Come on, let's go, we need to go.
Have you raced with your friends and your matching t-shirts. Have you done that?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, so on the one on Sunday, we'll all be wearing our t-shirts, and
Lovely.
yeah, it was just really like, it's so fun and good. Like a few of the other girls' dogs, they go a bit mental as well at the start, and it's just like they like egg each other on, don't they? Like hype each other up, and it's just so funny.
So on the subject of races and everything, I know you've got Manchester Marathon coming up, haven't you, on the 7th of April, and tell us a bit more about the charity that you're raising money for. So, but as I realise, obviously you won't be running with Miyah in that race.
Unfortunately, not.
All on your own. You've got no backup this time.
No.
But have you been doing a lot of your training runs with her?
Yeah, I've been doing, I'd say I've probably done about 85% of my runs with her. Because most of them, like, there's a lot of them are like easy runs and like shorter runs but faster, and then like my long runs, like the longest I've done with her is, I think I've done probably about just under half marathon. And then, but like now I don't tend to run more than 15k with her, just because it's a lot, isn't it, for a dog she's getting on a bit now, isn't she? So I'm just wary with how far I run with her now. So when I do like my long runs, I'll normally like do a little bit at the start on my own, then I'll run back home, get all my Canicross kit on, and then like finish it off with her, like, because it's good to finish off with her, because I'm like tired and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. She sort of like gives me my motivation.
That's really clever.
But yeah, I'd say about 85% of my runs she has come along with me and done, so, which is good.
Tell us about the charity then that you're raising funds for, and we will obviously we'll tag the post when we put it up. But yeah, tell us a bit about the charity.
So the charity is called the Thin Blue Paw. Basically what it is, it's a charity that funds police dogs, or and like military. It's predominantly police dogs, but they do cover like military working dogs as well. And basically it's a charity that is self-funded, and so it's all just solely off the donations they make, and it pays for, like, say a police dog gets injured on duty. It's something that unfortunately does happen sometimes, where, you know, they can get stabbed and stuff like that, and this charity will pay for that surgery, and then they'll help with the recovery of the dogs as well and stuff. And but yeah, like say like 10 years, say a dog's retired young at 3-year-old or something, and then 10 years down the line it's suffering with its hips, they'll pay for the surgery for that. And it's a charity that I've always been aware of, and I've always, like, it's a charity really close to my heart, and it's something like I've always wanted to do a marathon and raise money for this charity. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully I can raise as much as I can to obviously help them. But yeah, it's one of them where you'd think like the police would fund the surgeries, but unfortunately they don't, which it's quite hard. But like when there was like the riots in Southport and stuff like that, they gave out like care packages to the dogs, because obviously in riot situations people do tend to throw stuff at anyone basically, don't they? And like they bought all the care packages for the dogs to like give them that little bit of welfare and support for while they're going out there and doing what they're doing.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. And as Gail said, we'll put the link in obviously the podcast for people to so that when's the marathon? It's the
27th of April.
27th of April. So that's,
I'm nearly there.
I know. Well, I guess you've been doing all that kind of long training as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that from when we've done kind of that marathon work, that just incorporating your dog into some of those runs just makes it just a bit easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like I think I would have struggled, like, because it's been really hard as well, because why I've decided to do a marathon in April, I don't know, because I've done predominantly most of my runs in winter, when it's been like absolutely chucking it down, or like freezing cold. It's only been the past 2 weeks where it's been really nice, and I'm like, oh my god, I've been loving running in this weather. But I've had a few niggles here and there, but to be honest, nothing major, nothing to not stop me from training, which is good.
Yeah. Well, the marathon's going to be your victory lap for all the training that you've done.
Yeah.
That's all the hard part.
Make sure you let us know how you get on.
Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, I can't wait. You know what I'm looking forward to the most, and this sounds really bad, is eating all the junk food afterwards. As a celebration.
That's the reward.
Like the carb load in the week before. Like I'm gonna carb load hard that week.
I think you'll have earned it, Emma.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You'll just have to pull a little bit more around,
Yeah. It'll get me a PB. Running around with all the carbs I've eaten.
What about after London, though? Apart from once you've carb loaded for a week afterwards, do you plan to do any other races?
I'm one of them. I love having like a goal, and I keep having the thought of doing an Ironman. Like, I don't know why, but I just really want to do one. So I feel like that's going to be a next goal. I don't pick easy goals. I could just pick something like easy to do, but I like to make it hard work for myself. But I've done a fair few. I don't know if you've heard of them, but High Roxes.
Yes.
I've done a couple of them as well in the meantime of while I've been doing my marathon training. So I feel like I just need something to aim towards, because it gives you that motivation as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry,
I was going to say, she mentioned about High Rocks and obviously the strength and conditioning element, really important part. And we've talked about that in previous podcasts. With one of our trainers, Kat Batson, that anyone can listen back on a podcast, talking about the whole strength and conditioning aspect to complement what you do, because it's one thing to go out running, but obviously if you build up some strength and mobility,
it's just as important, isn't it?
It just gives you that extra power, and it helps you with recovery as well. So
definitely
you're doing that as well, because I think that's important.
We'll put a link in these podcast notes, because that's, especially if you've got a big dog that's pulling, it's important that for any canicrosser that you're looking at kind of that whole strength training, but it obviously sounds like you're doing it anyway. But you've been really inspirational, and I hope anyone listening to this, thinks that anyone can canicross, and we canicross with any size dog and every breed, I think, as well. But what would you say for anyone listening that maybe is struggling a bit with their mental health, considering canicross, but obviously anxious that they're not going to fit in? What would you say to that person?
I'd say I know like how you're feeling at the moment in time, of feeling like you're not going to be on the other side of it, and feeling like like you just don't want to go out. But honestly, the best thing you can do is go out. And I know how hard it is just to get your foot out the door, but I promise you, once you get out, you won't regret it. And like, just running with your dog, it will help you so much. And talking to people, like just getting out and socializing, like, don't be worried about joining these social groups. Everyone is so nice and they're inclusive, and it doesn't matter what pace you run or whether your dog's reactive or not. You'll be surprised, as well as like running with a reactive dog as well. Like, you'll find when they're running with a group, they're not reactive. Like, it's strange. But yeah, just don't worry about anything and just get out there and do it. And I can guarantee you will definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be inspiring people that listen to this. That's absolutely brilliant advice.
Yeah, very well said. And Emma, just to say a big thank you from myself and Jeanette for being, for speaking so candidly about experiences. And I think that a lot of people will relate to it. And even if they don't, it's such a lovely to hear the positive story that you've shared. And it was lovely to meet. We did meet Maya briefly.
Yeah, come here, Maya.
Her eyes.
She's been asleep. She's slowly getting up and stretching. She's been asleep.
Because she's got different colour eyes, hasn't she? She said that.
She does. Yeah.
Why is this? You can see her nose.
She's on the sofa in a spot.
So she found a little. She is beautiful.
She has the stubborn side to her, where if she doesn't want to do something, she will not do it. Come to you. You can listen.
We're going to get a little view of her.
There she is. You can see a different colour eyes there.
Yeah.
Beautiful. She's a good girl.
Oh.
Well, listen, thank you so much. And it's been lovely to chat to you. And best of luck for the marathon.
Yes. Yeah.
Do well. And let us know how you get on. Send some photos. They'll be lovely.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
Definitely will do.
So much,
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Talk Canicross. We really hope that you've enjoyed it. But don't forget to hit subscribe so we can keep you up to date and let you know when the next episode comes out. Happy canicrossing.